From Miami Vice, Sega Outrun to the Wolf of Wall Street, this is the poster car that I grew up with, the iconic Ferrari Testarossa.
This car looks fantastic. I mean, look at it. It is the pinnacle of the 80s supercar. Launched in 1984, and I can't believe this is a 34-year-old design. Still utterly gorgeous.
Cast your eyes to this massively wide rear end. Look, I'm still walking. And these grills, which run from the side to the rear. The car does seem a touch boxy, but it has the critical lines to round everything up. Pininfarina at his best. Now, one of the highlights of the Ferrari Testarossa is the magnificent flat 12 engine. 4.9 litres and 4 valves per cylinder. Now this is what I call an engine bay. Look at it, it is simply huge.
You can see every single little detail of the engine. We had a Porsche 991 in our shop the other day, and this is what we see, a piece of plastic trim.
This engine just shouts manhood, even when it is just sitting there.
Now that I'm here, let's see what this engine can do. Oh my god, this flat 12 and the noise, it's like no other. It is an exceptionally deep and throaty roar. While the engine doesn't feel particularly rapid by today's standard, to be honest, it does have 12 cylinders, producing only 390 horsepower in Euro spec. But it is the mechanical feel, sound and the torque that obliterates your senses. And then there is the open gate shifter. Now, of course, it takes a little bit of time for it to warm up, for it to go from first to second nicely. However, the sound of changing gears, you can hear the metal clanging against the metal, and it's like a steak knife on a plate. It's not exactly the sort of thing that you enjoy listening to. Normally, when you're driving a classic Italian car, you'd be constantly worried, looking at the oil temperature, the water temperature, and checking the brakes to ensure they're there at the next corner. But thankfully with this one, I feel like it's not trying to kill me. I'm very relaxed, the seating position is good, it's an enjoyable ride, it's very compliant, and so it's a great car to own. So this package of a 12-cylinder GT Ferrari is working surprisingly well in 2018. The wheels on this car are 16 inches and running on 50 section tyres. Yes, 50 section. So it is not a sharp handling car, but it is absorbing the bumpy roads very well. I mean, you are in a classic Ferrari. You just want to be cruising along, not breaking down, looking good in your shades. Who cares about point-to-point pace? You know what, guys? This Testarossa could be the sweet spot of classic Ferrari ownership today. It is not too old to be completely undrivable and unreliable, yet it is a Ferrari classic. And for you speculators out there, the greed is good 80s have been out of fashion since the grungy 90s. However, the tide has turned and the 80s are cool again as we don our rose-tinted glasses of this glorious era. Nothing symbolised this era better than the Testarossa. It was one of its only 12-cylinder road cars without a competition history, but the yuppies could not get enough at 7,000 units produced, which is indeed a lot by collector standards. However, the first execution Testarossas are rare in single mirror, single wheel nut configuration. There are reputedly less than 100 in right-hand drive out there. The 512TR and 512M, whilst less pure in design, are rarer than the standard Testarossa. So that makes the Testarossa still relatively inexpensive in the world of classic Ferraris.
Today, it is more of a revelation. This is a very usable and handsome classic car. If you want a classic Ferrari to drive as opposed to a garage queen, find yourself a well-sorted example and you will be smiling every time you get into the driver's seat.